ready, guys? We've done the homework. We've done the readings.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I sort of already. Oh, wow. That's what it was.
There is a monster in the ceiling.
I thought it was that.
What was it?
It was the aircon.
The aircon is dying. Is it going to collapse?
Well, it's like right above you, so...
Oh, I'm going to freaking die.
I could
Welcome
just see,
to
like,
Thermal
water
Talk.
sliding down.
I'm about to die.
Was that like even louder than before?
Yeah. Well,
That was well
I had my
loud.
headphones on before, so I can't really tell.
I did not really hear it last time. I felt like I heard it like in a distance away. Maybe obviously it's just cooling down.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it'll make for an interesting episode if the sludge falls out onto my head, I suppose. I look forward to that. Alrighty. Well,
Let's do it.
that was an abrupt start, wasn't it? Okay, let's get on with the podcast. Hello, welcome to Thermal Talk, the official Thermaltake Australia podcast. In today's podcast, we will be discussing the recent Warcraft 3 Reforged drama. Take another topic from the community. This week it is about smartphones and talk about harassment in multiplayer games. As always, you're joined by me, your host, Sarah, and today I'm also joined by...
Me, Gillian.
Justin.
Yay! I feel like this is our first podcast with you two of 2020.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
right? Because I know you had the one with Taylor, but I think that came out before. Did that come out before 2020? Was it the last one, 2019?
We recorded it like
forgot.
Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. Yeah. So it would have come out. Yeah, Christmas Eve would have come out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So there you go. First podcast of the year.
But I think it's the first time us two.
Yes.
Together, yeah,
Together,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I think you guys are one of my last rotations I have to do
Okay.
of like getting with it, like through everyone.
yeah.
It's tough, but I'm making it work. I'm trying to get everyone with everyone. So,
Yes.
yes. But yes, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. How are you guys doing? How's life for you
Good.
guys? Good.
It's good.
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 Busy.
Yes. Busy.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while since you guys have been on,
I
so
know it has been.
life's changed. You know, you've watched all The Witcher. I mean, what more
I know,
can you do
yeah.
now?
I've watched a lot of things.
Yes.
Too much.
Too often, too much.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some interesting topics today, which hopefully you guys will enjoy. So the first one actually came up just a bit after I had decided the topics for last week. And I was like, that sucks. But it's fine, because I can talk about this week with you guys. That's the best part. All right, so for those of you who don't know what the dealio is with what happened with Warcraft 3, it's like a whole thing, really. But like the like short story is Blizzard announced it's like a what's the word I'm looking for when
Remaster?
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
word. It's like a remastering of a game, and it was promised back in 2018. It was going to be this big thing, and like it looked amazing, and everyone was really impressed with all the changes they were going to make, and really really excited for it. And then basically once it came out, it incredibly failed to deliver, painfully so. I think a lot of the things they're going to do was like a lot of graphics overhauls. They're going to make things look a lot better. Cinematics were going to be like a lot closer. Like I watched this video of like a side-by-side of like what that 2018 trailer was and then like the one that they ended up getting. And yeah, the changes they were going to make were pretty obvious and really, yeah, they didn't quite get there. And people were not happy. As I mean, the internet tends to often not be happy, but I think they had a pretty decent reason for not being happy because of this. And I think the thing that that really got me the most is that I think a lot of the changes that they did to this Reforged one of Warcraft affected people who hadn't got the one, like the standard normal version of this ended up losing a lot of features and being stripped of a lot of stuff purely so that the two player bases could still play together. So it's like people who didn't even sign up for this are sadly being, affected by this change, and it officially has the title of the lowest rated game on Metacritic, which is, I think it's 0.5. I think it dropped to 0.4 for a bit,
Really?
and then it got back up again. So it's like the lowest game of all time. And yeah, it's been a colossal disaster basically. So they have ended up doing refunds for people who've asked for them, no questions asked, which is quite good. I think initially it said that they were trying to be like, well, you know, it's the game, like we can't get a refund, but I think they changed their mind and they're offering them now, which is really good. But I just thought I would, you know, maybe we should have a little chat about this kind of thing because I guess it's the whole thing with kind of how Blizzard is going right now. Like they really just are not having a good time, basically, after the whole stuff with Blitzchung. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but the Hearthstone player who got in a lot of trouble for declaring like about Hong Kong and him wanting his, you know, country to be free. He got in a lot of trouble for that, and then Blizzard got in a lot of trouble for the way they handled it. And so it really feels like Blizzard just cannot catch a break right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things. So I was wondering, have you guys ever really been affected by a game or even anything in general, like being sold to you in a way and then realizing it is just not at all what you expected it would be like? Has that ever really been something that you guys have ever experienced? Not really? Or
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think Master Chief Collection, Halo Master Chief Collection. I don't know if you
When
guys
it
know the
first came
story
out?
behind that, but that was like all about my friends group, because obviously you guys know I love Halo 3. We bought Xbox Ones because of Master Chief Collection, because we're like, oh, we
Wow.
can keep playing Halo 3 for like another 10 years. This will
Yeah.
be awesome. And then it was released and it was just like gutted. Like it didn't,
wow.
nothing worked. Like you get into a match-made game where it would end up being like 3v4 like from the start, and then it'd be like 5v3 in a 4v4 game, and like
Yeah.
grenades wouldn't throw. It's just like broken. So
Wow.
I think it comes down to similar, like what the topic was the other week was like the game crunch thing.
Yes.
Not enough time.
Yeah.
And then they just
exactly.
released it because it's, you know, money and stuff. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with Warcraft 3, did they have a budget restriction or something? They just couldn't afford to do what they wanted to do.
If it was
I
like
didn't understand.
any other company, I'd say maybe, but it's Activision Blizzard. Like they definitely have the money.
Yeah, that's what.
It does. It seems like they. I don't know. It's a really weird thing because from what I could gather, I don't really know why they had to step back on it. Like, even if it was time constraints, like, just seems weird. Like,
Yeah.
I think because I watch another channel, like a WoW channel, and he talks about that stuff as well. And I think a lot of the art assets and stuff were outsourced to another company in China.
right.
So they were doing all the art stuff. So a lot of people complain that the art assets don't feel Blizzardy.
Ooh.
Like it's a different art style.
Yeah.
And I think something to do with that, like communication between like the two studios and stuff. And like I think it was quite a small team
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that. It looked nicer, but it wasn't much of a difference from the
No.
first one. When I was watching, like when they show the two different games,
Mm.
the only major difference was that pretty much like what they were, the characters, how they looked and everything was pretty much the same.
Mm.
Like I didn't see much difference. I don't know. I feel either they were crunching it together, like time frame, and that's why they couldn't produce it, or I reckon when they first brought out that trailer in 2018, people might have been like, oh, they better not change so much of the original game.
Yeah.
You know, they better not do this, better not do that, and they might have got a bit scared.
I think it was delayed. Like it was meant to be released like 6 months before it actually did. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like since Activision Blizzard have like combined, I feel like Blizzard's just like not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And
No.
It's just
It's probably just too many heads like
Yeah.
taking control, and then there's no one actually taking control. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and it's a really, really interesting thing. And I don't know, I simultaneously like kind of am fascinated, but also like I feel bad by the scoring stuff as well. Because from a lot of the reviews that I've read, a lot of people don't feel like it's necessarily a bad game. Like on its own, it's not bad. But I think that all the stuff that came with it and all the controversy and how
Yeah.
just kind of limited people's sort of tolerance is for Blizzard right now really like showed with that rating, which
Yeah.
I don't know, it's interesting.
I
But
think like a big thing was what you mentioned is that it's like overwritten the older version. So there was such a massive like mod community behind Warcraft 3. Like Dota originally
Yeah, it
came from
came from
Warcraft
it.
3. I don't even know if like the original actually works
Right.
anymore. But like there's like a massive like there's a whole different types of game types you can play and stuff, and a lot of
Yeah.
them you can't play anymore
yeah,
at the moment anyway.
yeah. I think I was reading that they want to, I don't know if, I can't remember if this was true. Sorry, don't quote me on this. But I think I was reading that like in the new agreement or something that any mods that you create in this new version is owned by Blizzard. So if you create something and put the time and effort into creating it, they can then sell that. And it's fine. Whereas I think because like with Dota and stuff, that came about because of the things that the game allowed you to do. And I guess they don't want to lose that again.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And it's like it. But
I feel like that's Activision just.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, exactly
over.
right. And it is kind of sad. I know a lot of people who used to love Blizzard and thought they were amazing and their favorite company, and their perspective on them has just really changed. And it's amazing how as soon as you get a bit of a big wig, you can really change everything. It's really sad,
Yeah.
especially when they have made some like amazing games that people love and characters that people really care about, and it's just a shame that comes with that bad taste in your mouth now that this company is a bit.
Well, that's what happens with anything, social media, anything.
Yeah.
Just that one thing, it just overtakes.
Sours it. Yeah.
The whole
I think
thing.
that happened with me with Bethesda. I used to love Bethesda. Like I grew up with Oblivion, and it was like my first RPG, and I loved it. And then I loved Skyrim, and then all the stuff kind of. I don't know, Bethesda being a bit shady with Fallout 76 and all that kind of stuff, and like just completely soured the company for me, which makes me really sad because, I really love a lot of their properties. But, I guess it comes down to, when bigger companies come in and they're like, we're going to make more money. It's sad that it ruins it. And like, it's sad that this game has been ruined for a lot of people who were genuinely really excited for a game that they loved being, updated and stuff. Yeah,
it would have been cool if they did what they said they were. It would have been awesome game.
Yeah, I did love the new like camera angles and stuff they were using, and I felt a lot more personal because the issue I have with games like that, I don't like being so far away. I don't know. I know you've played WoW, so you probably doesn't bother you as much.
WoW's like third person. Like
true.
Yeah,
it's not as bad. But like I'm used to a game like Skyrim where you're either first person or you're like really close behind them.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't usually use that very often.
Yeah.
So for me, like games like, League of Legends and stuff, I can't really get into because like you're like over there, you're like 6 miles away, and it's like you don't even feel like you're part of what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas, the way they were kind of changing it, it felt like during the cinematics, you were like right up close and personal, and you could really see what's going on. And I was like, I totally get why people would want that.
Yeah.
And it just, it's really weird that they just kind of didn't do it.
Yeah. The worst part is that like with Master Chief Collection, like it crippled the game. So it probably did the same thing with this. Like everyone was like, okay, it doesn't work. It's broken. This is shit.
Yeah.
And then like years later, they've fixed it now, but it has that bad reputation. So you try to like find a game and nobody plays it.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I think the only reason I ever got Master Chief Collection was just to play the single players.
Yeah.
I didn't even touch any of the multiplayers because I'm pretty sure they were dead already by that point, which sucked.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, it is interesting how these happen. But yeah, it's good that at least they're refunding it. I suppose they're at least aware that they've like made an error, unlike some places that just kind of go,
bad luck.
Yeah, right. It's like this is just how it is. Like at least they're making the effort, I suppose. But is it like a little too little, too late kind of thing in a way? Because you've let so many people down already.
Yeah, so many people. I was watching YouTube reviews on the game. Oh my god.
People were heartbroken, genuinely.
And they're really, really mean. Like so mean.
Just going completely off.
Yeah, but it was funny. Like they'll be like so mean, and then like they'll change the tone and be like, but the graphics, like they look pretty good, and this, and then they'll just go back to being. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I never knew it had such a huge following. Warcraft, to be honest.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, I'm not in that scene, so I didn't really. All I heard about this game was that everybody was really upset about what had happened, and I was like, I should look into this game now. Like, I think I knew of it as well because didn't they make a movie of this of Warcraft, and it was like colossally bad, and everybody hated it.
I think
it's
so,
pretty bad. It's not like it's a fun watch. But it's not. It's like. It changes the canon a bit, so it's
dangerous.
If you're a lore nerd, you'd be like, that's not right.
Not in the lore. Yeah, fair. It is always dangerous adapting video games to movies, though.
Yeah,
like it can be tough.
Yeah,
I think most of them don't do a good job, to be honest.
I heard some good things about Sonic though.
I've heard it's amazing, and I am so confused. I did not see that coming at all.
No.
I
wanna
heard it's
see
incredible. Yeah, I want to too.
I just want to see
So
what
good.
it's about.
Yeah, we'll have to go on a group outing to Sonic, dress up in Sonic
let's do it.
outfits. It'll be great.
Yeah. Just so
whole
many people
team.
have been doing it. Have you seen videos online?
Yeah. yeah.
People
They
with
just
masks
dress
on,
up
like
as Sonic.
eating popcorn with the mask on.
So good. But yeah, I've heard it's really good. But I can't think of any video game movies that I think did really, really well. Maybe like, did any of you guys see the Lara Croft, like the Tomb Raider one they did that was based on the new game?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't end up seeing it because I felt like they made so many changes. But was it decent in the end?
It was. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan, like from the previous with Angelina Jolie. But with this one, it was still good. There was some bits where I was just like,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Didn't they cut out her friend? Like from the game, she had like a best friend, and they just like cut her out. I was like, that's fine. She wasn't important. She was literally half of the game.
Yeah, there was nothing to do with that.
I was so mad. Like when I read that, I was like, I'm not seeing that now. Cool, that's one thing off the list because I really liked that whole story.
Yeah.
I heard they're doing an Uncharted movie though, with the
Nathan
Spider-Man.
Oh.
No, Nathan Fillion's a bit too old now.
Yeah, probably.
He would have been perfect back in the day though.
Yeah.
He would have nailed that.
For sure.
But I think they're saying Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to be Nathan Drake, which
Really?
is interesting.
He's pretty young.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be like pre the game, so it's going to be like him meeting Sully and stuff. I think is the idea.
Okay.
But yeah, it'd be interesting. I kind of can't see him playing it. That being said, I couldn't see him playing Spider-Man, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, true.
I could be entirely wrong.
If they do series, like TV series, I think a lot of them can do quite a better job than a movie.
Yeah. I think The Witcher definitely proved that
Yeah.
a TV series is a way better to tackle, like, not saying The Witcher, I know The Witcher is booked, it's okay, calm down, internet. But, like, I feel like TV series work a lot better because they can unpack bigger stories, whereas
Yeah.
movies have to kind of pack that into, like, 2
One
hours.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Alrighty. So, I guess we'll jump on to our second topic of the day, which is our community topic. Once again, if you do have a topic suggestion for us to talk about, please, seriously, please, I need topics like really bad, please. Jump onto our Discord, please. And chuck them in the podcast suggestions. I think it's podcast chat. I think is what it's called. Tab. I'd love to see suggestions. Even if you submit one and I don't use it from that week, I might hold on to it and use it another week. But yes, I really need more suggestions, so please. But I picked this topic because...
I was going to say something. I won't say it though.
What? I'm just low-key begging
No,
the audience.
like I was going to... It doesn't matter. We'll get a comment if I say something.
Oh, controversial. Gosh, can't get Justin on. He's too controversial. Thought Nick would be the controversial one.
Yeah, true. We don't need any more comments on our YouTube.
To do with like a review of like a certain video game.
Oh.
Let us know if you watched to this point if we should review video games. Let's see. Then we can see if people actually listen all the way through. We're like 20 minutes in, so you know, if someone listens to 20 minutes right now and says that they got here and they say that they made it to the 20-minute mark, then Justin will review a game of your choice.
Yes.
I only played like one game.
Whatever.
So.
Well, you're the best person then.
Yeah.
You've got no prior
That's true.
like biases. You'll give a very clear review.
Okay.
It'll be quite funny, I think.
A forced review.
experience,
Yeah. Right, there you
Yes.
go. Cool.
Cool.
Done. All right, so the topic for this week, I picked this one because two people said it directly after each other, and I don't know if they both were typing it at the same time or if they just copied each other. Either or, I figured that was a sign. And we've never talked about smartphones before on the podcast, so I thought maybe now's the day. You both own phones.
Yes.
So I figured you are experts on this topic.
We do the phones.
We do the mobile phones. Frost.
That was the longest.
So add that to my soundbite for mine. Frost Gaming and Ralph, my son Ralph, both said thoughts on the new Samsung phone. Is it better than the iPhone? Now, okay, hands up. You have an iPhone, don't you? Mm-hmm. What do you have?
I have a Samsung.
I have a Samsung too. Represent.
I'm the
All
only
right.
iPhone person.
Yeah. Well, it's good though because I wanted to hear your opinion as an iPhone user because you're less likely than us to get a Samsung. So it makes sense. So the new Samsung phone, which is the Samsung Galaxy S20?
Yep.
How are we on 20 already?
It skipped 10 years.
What? Like, yeah, I was going to say, like, I have like an S9, so did I was I frozen for like 5 years? I don't remember the rest. So Samsung Galaxy S20 is their latest in their Galaxy lineup. Mm-hmm. And it has a bunch of cool, interesting new features and things. It looks like a big boy.
It's quite big.
Like a chunky boy. Like this one I've got right now is chunky enough. I can't go chunkier. I don't have the pocket space.
I don't know how girls. We can't do it. We don't have pockets, guys.
And
we don't.
Right? And if we do get pockets, they are tiny, and you can barely fit anything in. Do not get me started on fake pockets. Oh my god, there's nothing worse than buying a pair of jeans and then you're like, yeah, these are great, and then they just don't have pockets. It's very annoying. I'm sure you can relate to that, Justin, as well. Definitely. All right. So on top of it being apparently the first 5G device, so first device to offer 5G as well, the biggest thing that people are talking about it is that it does, it's a phone that offers, what is it? Where am I?
Lots of hertz.
Sorry?
Lots of hertz.
Yeah. Yes. What is the term? The refresh rate.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently a few other phones have done it already, but they're like smaller. Like apparently the Google phone never went that well. I always assumed it went well because it was Google and they're our Lord and Savior, and I just assumed everything they did worked well. But apparently the Google phone didn't do that great.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
that.
not too sure.
I always thought they did for some reason.
No, a couple of people have it, but obviously it's not something you see.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone here has one.
I don't know.
No.
Just run down, do a quick survey of everybody. But yeah, so the idea of Samsung going with a higher refresh rate option is basically going to be bringing that into the mainstream, which is something that other phones haven't really done yet. Like Apple, none of their phones have done that yet. And so the question is, are they going to implement that as well? Obviously, high refresh rate is cool because everything looks smoother and like much nicer. But then I guess the question comes into play of, is that going to chew all of your battery life like immediately? So it looks like quite an interesting phone. They've also going to be implementing, they've got some deal with Microsoft where they're going to be implementing cloud gaming, similar to what like Stadia is, how I think for the picture was like your phone clipped on top of a controller and you can play and stream your games that way. And I was like, that is ridiculous. And I what? So
what kind of games? Like actual games?
I think so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run pretty good things on your phone as it is.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue would be like storage. Be like, it just probably wouldn't be able to run it, I guess. But if you're streaming it from somewhere else, would that negate your phone not being able to run a big game on it?
So basically, this is irrelevant to us in Australia.
Yeah, true. With our very mediocre internet and the fact that phones do not have Ethernet cables, definitely unnecessary for us. But anyway, so I thought I would bring this up because mainly we've got Gillian here who has. Have you always had iPhones, or have you ever strayed? Scandalous.
Well, I still have the iPhone 6S, so I'm a bit behind.
Wow.
So I can't really say much with the newer iPhones, with the newer Samsungs.
Right.
But yeah, I think I first had a Samsung, like the flippy ones. That was my first phone.
Oh.
One that like slide.
Oh yeah, the slide up ones. Those are great.
That was my favourite phone.
I had one that was pink.
I had a black one. I think I still have it.
Yeah.
I think I've kept it somewhere in my cupboard.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And yeah, I think I had that, and then I had the it was like the BlackBerry, but it wasn't BlackBerry. It was like the other Motorola, I think, made one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, potentially.
Forgotten. And then I started getting iPhone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair. That's kind of like how I was, to be
Yeah.
honest.
But if I try to use a Samsung, I can't.
Doesn't work.
I can't do it.
Does not compute.
Nah.
Yeah.
I need to learn it
Fair.
again because I'm so
Yeah.
used to the iPhone.
I don't know how you live without a back button.
Right?
What do
That's
you
something
mean?
I didn't realize until
So like
I switched.
like the back button, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
whenever I use my parents' phones, like to try to show them how to do something, I'm like, how do I
How
get
do
out
I?
of
Yeah,
here?
right?
See, I'm so used to it. I'm so used to just like zooming out. That
Yeah,
takes you
okay.
out. Or a lot of the
That's weird.
apps allow you to swipe to go back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But then again, even within Samsungs, what one is yours?
S7, I think.
Okay, yeah. You're a little bit older than me. Have you tried to use Jono's phone?
No.
Because he has the S10, and man, I have never been more confused in my life. I felt like my mother. Like, I was just like holding his phone, like, what the hell do I do? Because like it doesn't have there is no button. Mine doesn't have a button either.
Yeah.
But you
I
gotta, like-
doesn't.
Is it there, like, but not like?
You gotta well,
actually
see,
there?
mine is an S9, so there is a button. Pretty much all there's it's like on the screen,
Okay.
but the button's always there.
Yeah.
With his, the button goes away, and you have to like do a weird thing with your fingers to get the button to slide
Yeah,
up.
that's what I
and I'm just like,
understand.
why? This is so unnecessary. But yeah, I remember when I first switched from my S7 to my S9, and it didn't have the button, and that was like a whole 6 months of just trying to figure out the
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
button technique.
Yeah, right.
But that's just within Samsung. So I
Yeah.
totally get it, because I switched from iPhone to Samsung, and that was a whole thing.
Yeah. That's
I
gonna be so hard for
I
me.
just got sick of having to sync things with the cloud all the time.
Oh really?
Like sometimes I just want to pull a photo off my phone. Like, why is this so hard?
Yeah,
like I used to have to
okay.
sync everything just to put like one photo on, or like put one song on. Whereas with this,
yeah.
I just plug it in and just drag it in, and it's great.
Yeah.
And that was the sole reason why I switched. It wasn't convenience. It was convenience, I guess, but it wasn't like look or style or anything. I just wanted to click and drag,
Yeah.
man. That's all I
Whereas-
wanted.
Yeah, I have a Mac Pro. Like when I used to have the iMac and Mac.
Yeah.
And I had the iPhone, it was so easy for me
Right?
to do the
It is.
AirPlay. What's it called?
Yeah.
AirDrop?
AirDrop?
AirDrop.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. So
Yeah.
I was just like, whenever
Do
I
it that
take
way.
photos, do that, and it was easy, and with clients and everything. But now I'm finding it really hard to
Yeah.
use my phone.
'Cause when you're trying to
or
do
anything.
Windows,
Yeah.
it's never as easy.
I feel like
do it.
like Apple's really easy if you don't want to think about it too much.
Hmm.
Because like in my old IT job, sometimes we'd get calls to go and help like little old ladies, like with just their laptop. They're
Right.
like, my iPhoto is not working. It's doing this, and we're like, shit, I don't know what the hell is like going on
Yeah.
here. Like, and then it would always be the bane of our existence because we'd sit there for like 2 hours, like trying to figure out just like it works if you just leave it, but then if you actually try to do something specific,
Yeah.
it's like impossible to figure out.
The stuff ups. Yeah. Well, yeah, the amount of times I've looked on help.
Yeah.
Like, how do I do this? How do I reformat my everything? Like, it was really hard to reformat Apple products. I don't know.
I just found them like you had to leap through like 4 hoops to do
Yeah.
one thing. Whereas with Samsung, because it's all like on the like Windows, you just plug it straight in, and it's great, and I love it. I don't think I would ever go back to iPhone now. I think the only thing that I like about iPhones a bit more is I do think some of them are I like the look of them. I think they look really nice. But I just, the convenience just sells me on the Samsungs every time. But would this be enough, this new Samsung 20, would this be enough to maybe sway you, or are you still pretty set in your Apple?
The thing I really like about the S20 is the megapixels. Like, it's just
Yes.
crazy how much
Yeah.
megapixels they've got. Like for the ultra version, I think the lower version is still 12 megapixels, and then it goes up to 14 or something in the middle, and then the ultra is like 108.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Like, that's crazy for a phone to have over 100 megapixels.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I find that Samsung cameras aren't very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Like,
my
the
sister
iPhone
has
cameras
one.
are so much better.
Yeah, my sister has one, and it does this weird blurriness,
Right?
which I don't
What is
understand.
with that?
So I'm hoping the Ultra doesn't do that.
Yeah, well, hearing that it will have a higher quality camera, I think will actually be probably the bigger sell than the other 2 things,
Yeah.
really. Like, because I
Yeah.
just think that that's something that a lot of Samsung users do kind of miss. especially if they used to use iPhones before.
Yeah.
Because I know the quality was way like the quality on my iPhone 5 that I used to have would be probably better than the one my Samsung now.
really?
I think. Yeah, I felt like every photo was clearer, and now I feel like every photo I take just looks like there's some kind of weird shimmery haze going on, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I know my camera. I hate my face camera. It's so bad, but the
other cameras,
other camera's
not bad.
good. Yeah,
I feel
don't
like
know
mine's
the
dead way
difference.
around. I feel like my
That's so
face
weird.
camera is better. We should get our phones and combine them
Yeah.
into a megaphone. We couldn't call it a megaphone because that already exists. But like something, like something that's like a megaphone.
Sample.
Oh, what?
Sample.
Oh, I thought you
trying
said
to do-
supple. It's like, what?
Sample.
Supple phone.
I'm trying to mix Samsung and Apple.
Or we should just all get Windows phones because they were the best.
Were they the best?
Windows?
Yeah, you don't even know they exist. They no,
Actually, no, I do know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
yeah. They used to be like it's like Samsung, Apple, and then there was like Windows Phone. But now it's just
Right.
like it's just dead.
Yeah.
But they had
like
it had like a cool like interface. Like, do you remember Windows 8 at all? Did you guys ever use?
Yeah, yeah.
It had like the tiles.
Ooh.
So you
I
could
think
do
it'd
like
be-
custom tiles and like sizes. Like
Yes,
it was
yeah.
fun to play around with. Like with it was if you were like expressive, I guess it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't have the support from apps and stuff. Like you couldn't get
Yeah.
Snapchat. Like
Okay.
this is back like when I was in year 12, so 2010. Like Snapchat was
What a-
new,
yeah.
but still like all my friends
Right.
are on Snapchat, and I was like, oh, or draw with friends and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, I feel so left out.
Aw.
But
Left out of
Good old draw
Snapchat.
with
And now
friends.
Snapchat's dead.
I used to love Draw with Friends.
and Words with Friends, maybe it was Words with Friends, or is there both?
There's both,
Okay.
I think.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or was it Draw Something?
maybe.
I don't
Draw Something. I think it was called
Okay.
Draw Something.
Yeah.
And then there was Words with Friends. They were both pretty dope, though.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. How do you guys feel about the whole cloud streaming thing on your phone? I mean, even though we can't really do it because we're in Australia, but is that something you guys could get on board with, or do you think that's something that'll just never really catch on? Because I mean, Stadia has I don't want to say failed dismally, but I kind of want to say failed dismally.
If they do it right, like if it's, I don't know, I think it would work quite well for people that like playing games on their
I feel
phone.
like- yeah, I feel like it'd be good for like commuters.
True.
They can play on the train. Like I don't think I would ever use it myself.
Yeah.
Because I would just get my laptop out and play on
Yeah,
it or something.
right.
But yeah, if you're like on the move, traveling a lot.
Could be.
But then I guess
useful.
traveling not on a plane because you can't get inside on a plane. Oh, you can
True.
get inside on a
Oh, a
plane
lot
now,
of,
can't you?
yeah, I think a lot
Yeah.
of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the problem is they're doing all these really cool new advancements like this and the high refresh rate, but are they working on ensuring longer battery life?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're adding all these things onto our phones now, which is like really cool, but I swear no one cares about like they're not ensuring that the battery life can handle it. Like I feel like back in the day I could get up at 6 a.m, have my phone charged from overnight and come home at 6 p.m. and my phone would still be on like 40% and I would have been
Yeah.
on it all day at school because I wasn't paying attention. But now, like before I've left the house, if I've watched 2 YouTube videos, I'm down to 70%.
Yeah.
And my phone is only like exactly a year old now, I think.
Yeah.
And like that's after a year, it's already lost so much like ability to retain power. Because when I first got my phone, it was on like 100% for most of the day. Like it was really like they're really good to retain that power when they're first made.
Yeah.
But I swear over the years they get weaker and weaker and weaker, and you can't replace your batteries anymore unless you like smash your phone open. But back in the day, you could like
Oh,
unscrew
yeah.
your phone and get a new battery, but you
Yeah.
can't do that now. You have to get a whole new phone, and it's just kind of like, okay, so they're putting all these cool new things on phones, but they're not ensuring the longevity of your phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's like if your phone's going to become a PlayStation, like most people keep their PlayStations for like 4 or 5 years until the next one comes out. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to have that. Like I appreciate them adding these things on them, but they're not really thinking about the other stuff. And like you said, the internet as well. Like
Yeah.
if all games became streamed like tomorrow, most of the world couldn't play games anymore. Which is, something that I feel like they're not really thinking about too much, which is kind of weird.
It's like, yeah. I was watching this guy talk about it, and he was saying that the Samsung lasted him for a whole day and half of the next day.
Okay.
So
How much was he using it, though?
that's the thing he didn't really say.
Yeah, because if you're not using it, it can last a good few days. But if you're using it to do things, and especially to game,
Yeah.
it's not going to last very long.
But it does have a bigger RAM memory.
Really?
Yeah.
Than iPhones?
Yep.
That's interesting.
It's got, damn, I forgot what they said. Because I think iPhone only has 4
Right.
gig of RAM. And I think the Samsung now has 16 or something.
Well, okay, wow.
That's as
I
much
need
as my computer.
Yeah, no, I need to double check.
Well, that probably explains why Microsoft, paired up with Samsung anyway. They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have paired up with
Yeah.
anyone else. But it makes sense because if the phones can now support it, in theory, I guess it makes sense for them to. But like I said, there's other hurdles to jump over, I think,
Yeah.
before you could start saying that this is something, I don't know, that everyone could get on board with.
They might, because I think the main thing that they were wanting is for people to be able to have multiple things open at one go.
Right.
Because a lot of people prefer to have that happening instead of with the iPhone, you have like a few open, then it just starts
Yeah.
going really slow, and you're like, oh, I have to cancel, get out of this, get out of that.
That's
That's
true,
why.
actually. Yeah, I feel like with my phone, I can keep like a lot of things open and I'm not too fussed. But I feel like back in the day, I had to close things.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just forget and I'll press the
And
button
yeah.
and I have like 50 things
Yeah.
open,
Right?
and it's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
And it also drains your battery if you have them open.
True.
That's why I'm like, swipe.
Yeah, yeah.
Satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a good feeling to
Yeah.
close them all off.
Yeah.
Yes. Although it's a really annoying feeling when you close them all off and you're like, no,
Yeah.
I needed that one.
Yeah, Spotify every time.
Yes.
Because I've been listening to
I
a
do that all
song
the
and then
time. And then Spotify, like, because you swipe it away, it like closes.
starts
And
from
you're like,
start.
this is
Damn,
so
why
annoying.
did I do that?
Spotify, if you're out there, you are out there, but you might not be listening. Change that. It's really annoying. All right, so I guess we can jump on. So yeah, so you're not going to convert. You don't think the S20 will convert you?
Oh, it's just the money.
True.
Because it's
I mean,
just
fair.
so expensive. I have been waiting for ages. I don't know, when did the 6S come out? Like, I finished my contract last year, so it might be like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
6S might have come out.
Yeah,
So
I reckon.
That's a good stint.
You've held that for
I've
so
held
long.
it
I thought I was
long.
doing well. This is like 3 years.
Yeah,
So
well, that
that's-
is
Yeah.
well according to like most people.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They're meant to only
Yeah.
last 2 years. That's their.
Yeah, right.
That's how they're like designed to
Just
last.
don't update it.
Well, it's convenient because like your phones are built to last for 2 years, and most plans when you get a new phone are 2 years. So then you
yeah.
have to go back and get a new plan because your phone's dying.
I think I might have to soon. But the only reason I haven't changed is just so I can save money on my account plan.
Oh, fair.
I'm saving. I'm only paying $30 and
Oh
I
my
get 30 gigs.
God.
30 gigs of data. It's
That's
freaking
amazing.
I
amazing.
think I'm
Holy
like
moly.
$40 for 80 gig. But I think it was like a crazy deal at
Yeah,
the time
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
But yeah, it's so much
Yeah.
better without having to pay a phone off.
But the thing is also I actually got mine replaced maybe I had it for maybe a year and a half and I still had it under some sort of warranty, or it was a technical fault or something like that.
Ah,
So
yeah,
they were
yeah.
able to replace it for me. So it's kind of like a bit newy.
It's kind of new, but by like 6 months.
Yeah.
That's not bad. You've held on to that for really well, like
Yeah,
a really good
touch
amount
wood,
of
I
time.
reckon it's going to shit on me soon, but
Hey, I mean, at least if it does, you don't have to feel like you got gypped or
Yeah.
anything. Like you got your money's worth, which
Yeah,
is
true.
which is pretty good.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I think this phone will convert too many people, to be honest. But I think maybe some people will be curious if you're like a tech aficionado and you kind of
Yeah.
want to see. Because from what I've heard, the high refresh rate display, you can really only tell how good it looks if you've got it in your hand, you're actually looking at it. So that might convert some people if you're like a big, you're someone who really likes things looking pretty.
Yeah.
But I do feel like with the average consumer, I don't think it's going to.
I feel
sway
like
too
most
much.
people, like regardless of what happens, won't get converted because it's just like it's just a quality of life thing. It's just you're used to the iPhone. You can't use the
Exactly.
Samsung. I can't use the iPhone. Like it's just
Right.
But there is also people out there that just want the newer.
that's
The
true,
newest
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe the whole 5G and the refresh rate.
Yeah.
That
They'll be
might.
like, oh, I'm the first person to have it.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yes. Alrighty. Well, moving on to our final topic of the day. So I thought this isn't really the most outrageous topic to talk about, to be honest, because I feel like everybody knew this already. But I just saw the other day. So a user on Reddit created did a poll on Reddit about people's experiences with League of Legends. And I don't know if you guys went and actually investigated what the survey looked like and all the different stats they had. It was nuts. They went in really in depth for different things. It was really interesting. It's a really interesting read. But anyway, they basically came to the conclusion that 79% of League of Legends players experience post-game harassment from teammates. And yeah, basically goes into explain all the different sorts of things that they discovered from the survey, which is very interesting. They basically were saying, you know, for example, they even were able to figure out which role in this game, which I haven't played much of League of Legends. I've played it like twice and I had no idea what was going on the whole time. I won, I think, but I can't remember what happened. I just kept running towards things and just hoping for the best. But they could even figure out certain characters and certain roles that were statistically more likely to be toxic, which I thought was super interesting. Like certain characters and certain classes seemed to lead towards more rage and more aggression,
right.
which I thought was quite interesting.
So like they can, because I was thinking, it's so like they can say this person is more likely to be an asshole.
Kind of,
okay.
yeah.
I was thinking it was the opposite way around, but that's crazy.
One of the characters, I think there's a character it was called Assassin. I'm sure they have an actual name.
Yeah.
But like the class is Assassin.
Yep.
And like that was one of the characters that I think majority of players who said that they were toxic happened to also play that character.
Well, that's like the equivalent of DPS, like in Overwatch
basically.
and stuff. So like,
yeah. It was really interesting to read through, and I definitely, if any of you guys are curious about toxicity in gaming, it's a really interesting read. Like, it was only from a select group. Obviously, it's just from people who are on the League of Legends subreddit. So obviously, it won't be representative of 100% of the player base, but it did reflect some interesting things. And I did find that headline to be also quite interesting in that they've experienced the harassment after the game is over, which I think is also really interesting. Like, people are so mad that they are continuing to be angry at them afterwards.
Yeah.
And so what they will do is, like, you know, repeatedly send someone a friend request until they finally accept it, and then just yell at them, and then they unfriend them and they do it again, and like stuff like that after a game is over. And so 79% of people were like, yeah, that's happened to me. I've experienced that kind of stuff in this survey, which is just like, that's insane. Like, I can't understand being angry. I can understand being angry in a game. I can't really understand being angry at a game and then feeling entitled enough to jump on a mic and tell the person that you're angry. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like, you bet your bottom dollar I've been like, you're an idiot while playing a game, but I never got on my mic and said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was just such an interesting stat. And like I said, there was tons of other really interesting stats on there. I mean, to really nobody's surprise, sadly, like, all of the women responders said that they'd experienced sexual harassment, and pretty much none of the male respondents did, to no one's surprise. But so yeah, there's a whole variety of different stats that were brought up. And so I just thought we'd have a little bit of chat about toxicity in games. I know you play some multiplayer games, and I know you've played a few in the past, and I'm curious to hear, I know you play Magic. Is there any toxicity in that? I just have to ask because I'm curious.
Not really.
No?
It's usually quite friendly. Like, you'll get the odd person that just won't like talk at all, like during the game and stuff.
Yeah.
But no one's ever like
nasty
afterwards or anything. It's just like good game.
Yeah.
Like the worst will just be like someone's be like shake your hand and walk away.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst you'll get. You won't be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, it's just
fair. So it definitely has to have that layer.
Because you're face to face as well.
Yeah, you have to have that layer of anonymity, I guess, don't you?
For sure.
But yeah, so have you guys ever experienced like online harassment while playing any games, or felt any toxicity, and what are your kind of feelings on that kind of stuff? Are you just kind of like, oh, it's nothing, they're just being silly, or are you more of like, this is stupid, you know?
When I was younger, I feel like it was worse for me.
Yeah.
When I was first playing like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty, because they did have team speak
yes.
in the actual game.
Yes.
So, because my name...
Oh, no.
My name was Army Girl.
Oh, no.
I know. I'm sorry.
Was it ARMEE, or did you do a Y?
I did a Y.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You saved a little bit. Army Girl.
GURL.
Yeah.
Girl.
No, girl wasn't that thing like back then. So
no.
it was just normal girl.
That's good then.
So I used to get a lot of people harassing then because they wouldn't believe that I was a girl.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't talk to them. and then I'd have some that were just like, you're not a girl, like, blah, 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 just talking shit. And then when I would say it, like, start talking, then they would start on with the harassment kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was younger back then, and I probably was a bit naive to kind of understand what they were talking about, really.
Yeah.
So only now I realise, okay, that wasn't really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great people.
Great camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I have not many people, like, if I start talking on team chat, a lot of the guys, like, from them talking all the time from the start, and then I'll just say, oh, hey, guys, they'll just stop.
Just dead silence.
Yeah. Or I'll get, like, a bit older guys, and they'll have, like, full conversations with me, like, say, oh, what do you do, and all this stuff. And they're really kind people. And then you just get the ones that just go, you're a hacker. And it's just like, what the hell are you on about? I'm a girl. I'm a noob. Like,
I don't even know how to hack.
I don't know how, yeah. I'm like, what the hell? But it's much better, I feel, for me. I think maybe because the games I play.
Yeah.
But I reckon for younger kids, it would be way worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's such a huge global thing now. Like, everyone games, everyone team chats.
Yeah, there's much more of a social aspect to it now than I feel back in the day.
I feel like less people actually talk though now, like in random matchmaking. Like I remember back in the day, like, because I don't really talk anymore. I don't really play matchmaking games anymore. But like back when I was playing Halo, like in high school, like you get into a game with randoms and you just be talking to them.
All in the lobby, everyone's talking
and now
shit.
like nobody says anything.
Yeah,
it's
it's interesting.
From what I've found, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Or you get the random just people being silly, which is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like I've experienced a bit, which is interesting because I do think two of the most toxic games out there are probably League of Legends and Overwatch.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately I have played a bit of Overwatch in my time. And so yeah, I've definitely had people like just go off at me as well. And like I remember the last time that happened, these people decided that I was doing a bad job. And I was like, all right, look, fair, I suppose. But like, even if I wasn't doing a bad job or if there was a reason for what had happened, it was still my fault somehow. Like, it was almost like they had picked who was the person they didn't like.
Yeah.
And I could have done anything.
Yeah.
I could have, you know, and it wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered. It was and like stuff like that I feel is always, is I don't know, it's just one of those things that I feel like it always seems to happen in that same pattern. I don't know, like I've watched a lot of streams as well of these sorts of games and like it's always the same thing. It's always just like one person is picked out as being the one we all attack and then they all just attack that same person. And it is really interesting how that mob mentality just like appears. Like it's really interesting.
It's definitely more so with like the role games. Like, you know, you're a bad healer or something. Or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Or support. Like, where's the support?
Yeah.
But I feel like that what you were talking about also happens in day to day, like with kids at school.
Yeah, true.
That happens. They have a group of kids and then they always single out one. Yeah. And then they're known to be that kid that I don't know.
It's a very like, although at the end of the day though, like from like I put up the stats just before. And like the most common age of people who were being toxic were people between the ages of, I'm pretty sure, I can't even find it now, but it was like between the ages of like 20 and 24 that they were the worst and stuff like that. So I did find that quite interesting that, you know, it's like you've definitely at an age where you know that it's kind of not okay.
Yeah.
You know? And then there was another one that I thought was really interesting that was like, what was it? There was it's just a really interesting read. Like I'm just throwing it out there, but it genuinely is a really, really interesting read. And yeah, like the stats of the characters that were the most likely to be toxic was really interesting too. And the certain locations that they go to. Where was the one about the age groups? Oh my God, this is really bothering me. And then there was also an interesting stat that was like the people who were, that like, they went into like people's occupations and then how often they played, and then they also talked about how often, like who got the most toxic and stuff like that. And I think it tended to be the people who played the most games tended to be the most toxic as well.
Yeah.
Which was also like, well, I don't know, it's kind of like, well, you have the most time to fix that if you lose. Like, calm down, bro.
Yeah.
And then I think they also found that the single males tended to be the most toxic.
No surprise.
To no one's surprise. But yeah, so I don't know. It was a very, very really interesting stat overall, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you guys kind of think can be done to sort of maybe get rid of this mentality? Like, I think from what I looked from in the stats there, like, it seems to be like declining, which is good. Like, if I think it's the general consensus is a lot more people aren't as toxic, which is nice. But it's definitely still prevalent. And I guess one of the reasons why I don't play competitive games anymore, because it's just like, it's a roll of the dice as to whether the people that you're going to play with are actually going to be nice and work as a team, or if they're just going to give up after one round because they've decided you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So what kind of things do you think maybe they should be putting more in place to maintain, like, to stop this kind of thing from happening? You know?
I don't know as much you can do. I mean, there is like the whole like how you can rate people.
Yeah.
You know, you can report them and stuff, but you'd be able to do that for years, and I don't know if it actually does anything. Maybe if it actually had some consequences.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've reported like numerous people in Overwatch over the years.
Yeah.
And occasionally, like, I know a friend of mine who reported someone recently who was just like, I think the second they found out that she was a girl, just kept constantly like, just like having go at her and saying something about kitchens. It's always about kitchens.
Yeah.
You know,
make a sandwich or something in the kitchen.
I mean, look, I think the assumption that we're all good at making sandwiches is just wrong. I'm terrible at making sandwiches. I'm also more of a baguette person myself, not like a straight sandwich, but that's just me. But yeah, and she reported him. And I think other people did too, because they were all just like, this guy is just nuts.
Yeah.
And I think then with Overwatch anyway, if you log back in the next day and your report has actually been resulted in someone getting banned, you get a little thing that flashes up and it's like, thank you for reporting, we've taken action.
Yeah, okay.
But I've never had one of those pop up in all the years, that it makes me sad.
See, that's the problem as well, is because it could be abused in the opposite way. It could be like, this person's really bad. He's a shit healer. I'm just going to report him.
Yeah.
And then like, it's not like there's like a personal case where they look at exactly what happened. They just like, okay, this person got reported for this reason. He's had like 5 reports. He must be, you know, angry or something.
Yeah.
He's banned. Yeah. So I don't know there's a lot you can do. I think it's just human nature, really.
Yeah. But then
like,
again,
when it's competitive and it's like on, like there's a lot on the line. But
Yeah,
like, you know, to
totally.
those people, there is a lot on the line, I guess, and it's
It kind of reminds me of the mentality of when you're in a car and you're driving and like someone's annoying you in front of you and you like go off at them.
Yeah.
But then they might turn around and go, you go, because you're like, I'm angry, but I'm in this safe confines of this car,
exactly.
and I
You
can't,
can
you know.
express,
And it's like, it's online to me feels like an extension of that, where people just think they can say whatever they want because they're in their safe little car.
it
But
is.
you know, when push comes to shove, like they wouldn't actually say that kind of stuff.
If they were to see the person face to face, they would never.
It might not. It might not be the same thing.
It's just how behind the computer everything's just.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're king or queen. They can just do whatever they want.
I don't know. I just I really hate that mentality.
I know.
I really do. I
same.
don't know. Just because you're hiding behind a username doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're entitled to be rude to people. That's just me though. Maybe I'm the weird one. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like from the company standpoint, like I guess it's hard to really do much. I guess like I know in the case of Overwatch, a lot of frustration, like one example that I can think of my opinion, like Blizzard letting down the community was when one of the characters called Mercy was really, really powerful for like 6 months for no reason. Yeah. And the problem with that, in my opinion, she was obviously too powerful, as anyone who played that time would know. But on top of that, she is a character that is favoured by a lot of female players. And so then that led to a lot of attacks on female players. And I feel like Blizzard really let down both the not general player base because that character was too strong for too long, but it also let down the female player base because they, you know, women in games, it's kind of hard for us like to feel confident enough to talk, let alone have someone be like, get off DPS, you're a Mercy main, you're a girl. Because then there's that negative connotation of Mercy's a terrible character and we hate her, therefore we hate the girls who play her.
Yeah.
And it's like you let down two groups, right? You're letting down everybody and specifically your female player base because this character is getting a lot of hate on top of, you know, happening to be played by a lot of women. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't it wasn't handled very well. So I think situations like that, companies do have an obligation to try and protect their player base a bit.
Yeah.
You know?
In that sense, they'll probably have to create players that are a bit more equal. Like, do you feel like a lot of games these days make them a bit more equal in strength, or? Do
you mean like characters or overall?
That's like a challenge though. It's a balancing act because you change one thing and then everything else changes.
Yeah. I don't know how they work.
Yeah, that whole situation was like anyone who played during that time knows that it was just
was
like
that like
the worst.
Before her ultimate got changed?
She had her res and then they changed it and then she just became worse. And that double res that she had was like that for about 6 months. That's right, And so basically you had to play that character on your team, otherwise you would just lose.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, a lot of females gravitated towards that character because she didn't require a lot of like shooting skills, but you could still contribute to be part of the team. And like she's a great character. Like her maneuverability is wonderful. But like I think then the stereotype attached to that was that we hate this character and then before we hate people who play her, which are a lot of women. Yeah. And it's just like, so like I said, that was a real case of that company really letting down their player base. So I do think that there is some things that companies can do to protect their players. But it's hard to know what would fix it all, I guess. The internet being fixed somehow.
And it's always ends up being someone getting hurt or something really bad happening due to the bullying and harassment, and it's sad to know that it will only change if something like that would happen. Maybe they will start, I don't know, being a bit more restricted in, I don't know, what can they do? Maybe like the age or how many hours they play, or having just warning signs come up before they start the game saying, you know, please stop, no foul language, no blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I know that I think Valve have implemented or are doing tests right now of an AI bot that like sits in the games and monitors the chat. And if anyone says the wrong thing, they'll basically ban that person.
Well, that's the answer, I guess, isn't it? AI.
Yeah, having something constantly monitoring and like constantly listening to every game and seeing any harassment and just being like, cool, once this game's over, you're out kind of thing. I guess that would be a great way to do it, and I do hope they can make that like optimal and usable. Because I don't know, it's a tough one. I know some people might say, well, like to play devil's advocate, some people will just be like, well, toughen up, I guess, and like fair, I suppose. Like the world isn't always a nice place, and sometimes people do suck. But you know,
I just laugh in their face whenever they say anything now. I just give it back to them like I say a joke or something. I don't. Are
you saying you're toxic, Gillian?
No.
Toxic, Gillian.
Just adding to toxicity.
Yeah, you're just fueling the toxicity.
End the cycle of hatred.
If
Make
they're
love,
hating,
not war,
I'll
Gillian.
just be like, if they're like, oh, you're shit, I'd be like, oh, I love you too. Like, that's what I would say back.
And then you charge them with those exploding things.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, the lunge mine.
Yeah, those things. They still remind me of those arrows, like those kid bow and arrows that you get.
Oh, with the little suction
and the
thing.
little suction things again. We're talking about the battlefield thing, if anyone's paying attention.
A toilet plunger.
True. It does also. It has big toilet plunger energy. All right. Well, I reckon that's probably about time, I think. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. Hope you guys did enjoy our little chats. We got a bit philosophical.
Philosophical?
God, that's philosophical.
Yeah.
It always sounds like it's wrong. I don't know why philosophical doesn't sound like a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys had a thought of an outro? Well, I'll get back to you and I'll do my little outro, and then you guys come in with the big guns. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Check out all of our social medias while you're here. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out what else to check out? Our YouTube channel. Even though you might be watching this on YouTube, but if you're not, check out our YouTube channel. It's great. We've got lots of stuff on there. And follow our Twitch as well, which is, I'm pretty sure, Thermaltake ANZ. Pretty sure is our Twitch. Follow that as well, because we're going to be doing more streams on there soon. And is there anything I forgot to shout out? Is that everything?
I think so.
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
And join our Discord, please.
Ah, yes.
Please, I beg you, please. All right, what's that wonderful outro for today, guys?
Stay cool.
Wasn't that your old one?
Yeah.
Can't repeat your old one.
Stay cool.
Stay cooler.
Stay hydrated.
That is important in the summer.
Yes.
Mm.
Stay icy cold. I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess that'll be it.
I don't think we're ever going to find an outro.
No, I think the outro is us trying to find the outro at this
Yes.
point. It's the long journey
Mm.
with no ending. You
Yes.
thirsty there?
I drank all my water, yeah.
Oh, well
I
done.
stayed hydrated.
You did stay hydrated. Oh my god.
Did you? Didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. Disappointing. All right, I can now be
Okay.
the end.
Cool.
Bye. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end. We do hope you enjoyed this episode of Thermal Talk. If you want to join in the discussion or maybe even submit a topic for us to talk about in future, make sure to jump over to our Discord. We also do weekly giveaways there as well. Remember also that these video podcasts are available audio a week earlier. So jump over to our Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcasts to listen earlier, and we'll catch you on the next one.